Welcome to the desert of the real.
While you're speaking, can you give him some background on your project called Project Voltron 5?
Okay. In my experience in running online investment program, I was originally dealing with an alternate economic system that had been put together online. It eventually collapsed because some of the people that had accounts didn't understand the full range and functionality of what the authors of that system were intending. And you also had others that were simply looking to take advantage of that economy and structure just for their own benefit, while taking advantage of those who had a clear understanding of how to manage their accounts and wanted to have that system function viably. So as that collapsed, and I started thinking about just what the founders' intentions were for that alternate economic system, I came to the conclusion that, well, what I could do in an alternate economic system in terms of functionality, I should be able to do utilizing what would be available within the more conventional system. So eventually created the Project Voltron 5 concept, and basically the idea was to pretty much utilize or figure out a method of enabling people to exercise a degree of economic self-sufficiency through what would be considered the more conventional financial structures. So this basically centers around a main administrative account with different branches going into real estate, trading foreign currencies, stocks, options, exchange-traded funds, basically finding a system of instruction for each component where basically you would be studying under an individual who had mastered that particular field. So basically the idea is that, all right, each component in and of itself you can do some good work with, but combined you can exercise a great deal of power and influence. So hence the comparison to the Voltron lines, where each line has its own range of capability, but combined as a Voltron, the level of power exercise is greater than any one component.
Jelani, brother, I need your information, because that's basically where me and Kala were doing. Like, see, it's funny that you mentioned that, because when you start talking about groups of 5, you're talking about basically the 5 different asset classes, and basically being able to work with, stocks, bonds, commodities, currency, and I guess the 5th asset class would be real estate, like you said, and making and basically, like you said, and that's really where true diversification comes from, is having a hand in each one of those asset classes. So that's what actually me and Kala were developing in terms of a community, but educating people from the ground up, starting from their personal credit to banking resources to 401k to understanding insurance, types of insurance, understanding different types of investment accounts, understanding what's available for people who are wanting to go self-employed, to just a wide range. And we wanted to start at a very grassroots level and give people a very basic understanding of money, the monetary system, and how it works, and then explaining to them You know, for instance, because I had several people when we did it the first time talking about credit, because there's a lot of people who just don't understand credit, and in this system, no matter how you slice it, you know, it's talking about alternate system. You know, they have to get an understanding of credit first, credit and just general banking practices, and then working their way up to the things on a different level of sophistication. You know, so I definitely need the information. That's basically where we were headed.
Right. Now, what's funny about this? Oh, okay, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you just experienced is called a connection.
Right, and that's cooperative economics. And speaking of cooperative economics, this Ambassador Ausar, we have to take advantage of the things that we do or we have unified on. And whether we want to talk about Maulana Karenga, we want to talk about his past, I'm not really interested in that. We all have agreed upon Kwanzaa, and we've all said that we will accept that that's a holiday that we'll say is ours. We need to do something in them 7 days as far as economically, as far as boycotting, as far as holding our money. We need to do something on them 7 days, man. Because that's the agreed upon time frame that they said is a holiday that they say is African centered. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, let's really do something on that Kwanzaa holiday, on those 7 days economically, as far as starving out these people and as far as putting things together.
I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, because it's all about taking, I mean, like you said, why reinvent the wheel? If something is already in existence, we can take it and run with it.
Right.
If it's not what we want it to be, we can transform it.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do during them 7 days? On the 26th, first of all, we shouldn't be buying into this Christmas thing. Don't get caught up in that. I mean, people still, I'm sure people on this line is not still having their kids caught up in the Santa Claus. We should have broke that illusion down to them, and we haven't. We need to do that and focus on this cooperative economics and the real truth of the matter during this time. We shouldn't spend no money in them 7 days outside of our community at all, period. And if you do,
first
have to do the basics.
You got to first sit down, and what some people need to do is get yourself a little notebook pad and a pen, and write down what you actually buy. When you write down what you actually buy, you get an idea, and then say, out of those things you buy, how many of those things are African, that you're getting from African people?
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see what the problem is.